Perfect, perfect. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's begin our lesson. So welcome to Dr. Joe's Academy vocab class. Today is Saturday, December the 16th, 2023. My name is Teacher Daniel, and let's learn some vocabulary. So first things first, we have our word reading followed by some word writing afterwards, okay? So let's start off, and today I made it a little bit even more challenging because everyone here is not importing, sorry, everyone here is improving so quickly and they're doing so good. So if I can just have Alina, can you read the slide for us, please? That would be wonderful.
These days, you're most likely to hear dragoon used as a verb, meaning force someone to do something, like the way your best friend dragged you into volunteering for the prom committee. Dragoon? Wait.
Yeah, what about it? Do you need help?
No.
Okay.
It's just I accidentally minimized the task.
Oh, I see. Okay, keep going.
Were soldiers who rode horses into battle and were trained to fight either on foot or on horseback. Phloem.
Yeah, that's
In
correct.
plants, the phloem is part of the system that carries nutrients everywhere they're needed. The phloem of trees is located just underneath the bark.
Yeah, very good. So when you hear the word dragoon, right, it's very similar to what word? It spells one letter differently than what word? Dragon. Yeah, very good, Alina. So don't confuse the two because it has two completely different meanings. Dragon, I think everyone here knows what dragon means, but this is a verb meaning force someone to do something, right? So obviously, if your best friend dragooned you into volunteering for the prom committee, they forced you into volunteering, right? Also has a different definition where they were soldiers who rode horses into battle and they were trained to fight either on foot or on horseback, right? So either cavalry or infantry units. Good. So a phlegm is just the part of the system that carries nutrients where they're needed. So if any of you are interested in biology, this is a very common term you'll be using because this part of plants, right? This is where all the nutrients go. So does anybody have any questions? No questions? All right, wonderful. Let's continue on. Let's have Catherine, can you read the slide for us, please?
Restorative things give you energy or make you feel better. Your dad might have a favorite restorative chicken soup he makes you whenever you have a cold. Use the adjective evocative when you want to describe something that reminds you of something else. If your mom baked a lot when you were a kid, that the smell of cookies in the oven is probably evocative of your childhood.
Yeah, very good. So restorative just gives you energy or make you feel better. What is the root word of restorative? Does anyone know? All right, I'm getting a few answers. Restore, yeah, very good, Alina. Alina's on the ball today. Very good. Yeah, so to restore, right? Obviously, if you're going to regain your energy, that means you want to restore it. The adjective evocative, just it's when you want to describe something that reminds you of something else, right? So obviously, if your mom baked a lot of cookies when you were a kid, the smell of cookies in the oven is probably evocative of your childhood, right? So essentially, you're trying to take one thing and compare it to another and try to find a link between the two. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? No questions? All right, let's keep going. Let's have Chenming. Can you read the slide for us, please?
Ataraxia is a peaceful state of mind. Many people who meditate hope to achieve a state of ataraxia. when you invert something, you turn it upside down, whether it's an idea or it has to place face down on your desk when you're finished.
Yeah, very good. So ataraxia is just a peaceful state of mind, right? So once it's like, how do I put it this way? When you achieve a full zen in a way, when if you meditate or you do yoga, right, you create internal peace, and that's called ataraxia. When you invert something, right, you just turn it upside down, whether it's an idea or a test, so on and so forth. So uh, also there's a very common term used in math called inverses, right? To invert different graphs, right? It has kind of a different meaning, but I think that's a little bit too advanced for us. But let's move on. Does anybody have any questions? No? All right, let's continue. Let's have Daniel. Can you read the slide first, please?
An emu is a very large featherless bird that is only slightly shorter than its close relative the ostrich. You're likely to see emus if you travel around the native continent of Australia. Acrobatics is the type of exercise that works the heart and lungs, leaving you breathing hard. When you do acrobatics, you work up a sweat.
All right, so just quick pronunciation thing. So this is a very interesting word because it sounds like kind of like emo, but it's emu. So you see it's like emu. Okay, so that's a very interesting. And also this aerobics, not acrobatics. Okay, so when you're reading, try to read a little slower because words like these can make you like it could trick you in a way. So this aerobics. Okay, so an emu is just a very large flightless bird that is very similar to an ostrich, right? So in Australia, they have a lot of different animals. Like if you ever want to visit Australia, 100% go on some expedition to see kangaroos, koalas, um, emus, ostriches, because that's it's very interesting how their ecosystems work down there, right? So aerobics is a type of exercise that works the heart and lungs, right? So leaving you breathing hard. Uh, does anyone know a synonym for the word aerobics? It's not acrobatics. I can tell you that. Does anyone have a synonym? All right, I'm getting a few cardio. Yes, very good. Yes, cardio is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. All right. So does anybody have any questions? No questions? All right, let's move on. Let's have Rico. Can you read the slide for us, please?
Gridlock is what happens when there's so much traffic on the road or highway that it's close to a stop. If your bus gets stalled in gridlock, elevators will be late for first period. When something has coherence, all of its parts fit together. An argument with coherence is logical and complete with plenty of supporting facts.
Yeah, very good. So, gridlock is just a more common term nowadays for traffic, right? So we say stuck in gridlock, usually you'll hear on the news or the radio. That means that they're stuck in traffic. So just a synonym for traffic. Very simple. When something has coherence, right? All of its parts fit together well. So an argument with coherence is logical and complete with plenty of supporting facts, right? So this is very interesting because a argument doesn't necessarily have to be true to be coherent, right? If I say the Earth is flat, and I give a bunch of supporting evidence, is it coherent or incoherent? Does anyone know? A little confusing, but I'm trying to like illustrate it here. So it would be coherent, right? Yeah, very good, Chenming. So it would be coherent because I gave facts and logic behind it, right? Even though it's not true. Okay? So you have to be very careful with that. Anybody have any questions? No questions? All right, let's move on to the next slide. Let's have Alina. Can you read the slide for us, please?
An anion is an atom that has more electrons than protons. In other words, an anion is an atom with a negative charge. Teach a man to fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man to excel in the piscatorial arts and he eats for a lifetime. Piscatorial means having to do with fishing.
Yeah, very good. So an anion is basically an atom that has more electrons than protons. So it just has a negative charge. It's a more chemical term, right? It's in chemistry. If anyone knows chemistry, you probably heard of this term before. If not, you will learn about it. So it's very interesting. If you want to get into chemistry, do so. It's very cool. All right. So piscatorial just means has to do with fishing or fish in general, right? So as you can see, they use a very common idiom. What's the idiom that they use in this case, or the saying? Anyone put it in the chat, or maybe unmute and say it? Anyone? No one knows the saying, teach a man to fish and he eats for a day, teach a man to fish and he eats for life. No? Oh, sorry. I think I butchered it. Oh well. Okay, that's fine. Any questions?